Okay, let's start off with the things you're gonna need. You're gonna need a self-peeling cutting mat and a ruler, preferably a metal one, a box cutter or an art knife, some kind of glue. I use glue tape, a bone folder, but you could use the other side of a butter knife. A corner punch is optional, but they're really fun to use and they make cleaner corners. And a scoreboard is optional, but I definitely recommend it. And of course, you're gonna need a printer. And I linked all of these products in the description. Like every project, I'm going to start with brainstorming, so I'll just roughly jot down some ideas I have or specific words that I want to convey with the packaging. After that, I'll head to my computer, look for inspiration on Pinterest and sites like that, and I'll also look at other packaging within this industry. I'm a big fan of going physically into stores, so if I'm working on food packaging, I'll go to the grocery store. But for this specific project, I could have gone to Sephora and looked around there, but I do want to make something that's more unique and not something as simple as the products you might find at Sephora. After I have an idea of what I want to design, I'm going to go ahead and set everything up in terms of sizing. I have been obsessed with amber glass jars lately. I just think they're so pretty, and I really like that their purpose is to preserve the product inside. I bought a pack of these 6 from Amazon and they came empty, so I made my own body butter from this TikTok recipe and I filled all the glass jars up. So now I am taking those jars and I'm measuring them out on the cutting mat. I don't know if I should make this 3x3 or 3x2.5, because like I don't want it to be too tight that I can't get it in, but I don't want it too much breathing room so that it wobbles around everywhere. I personally get all my die lines from Pandora. It's just the easiest way for me instead of unfolding boxes and measuring them out. They have so many product categories, and today I'm going for a tuck-end box, which is your standard fold over top box. I'm going to switch the units to inches and enter the dimensions that I measured. I'm going to make sure the thickness is the minimum because I'm printing on regular paper. Here you can see the 3D render of how it'll look like. So I'm just looking at that and making sure that it's the type of box that I'm looking for. You could also input your design directly into this builder to get a real preview of what it'll look like, but I'm pretty confident with what I'm going to be designing, so I'm just going to go right into Illustrator. I'm downloading the die line directly from Pandora, and I'll open this PDF up in Illustrator. I'm skipping the full design part because that's for another video, but I'm placing my design onto the die line and I'm extending the bleed so that if there's any issues with the printer, it's still gonna extend past the border and I won't get any weird white lines on the edges. I'm making sure that I'm working in CMYK and that all my text is outlined. I learned at my first job to export as a PDF and print as a PDF instead of printing directly from Illustrator. Every time I would try to print from Illustrator, I would get weird color inaccuracy issues. And also PDFs are just more widely accepted by various print companies, so it's just good practice, I feel like, to use PDFs when printing. This is my printer. It's the Canon Pixma Pro 100. This particular model is discontinued. I found mine on Kijiji secondhand from a really nice old man. But I did a lot of research, and this is supposedly one of the best printers for art prints. But I don't think that you need the fanciest printer to do these sort of prints at home. I think what really matters is that your file type is set up properly, as well as the type of paper that you're using. I am printing on 100-pound matte cardstock. I do like the look of glossy for some projects, but that'll depend on the look you're going for because I actually do like how the texture shows through on this matte paper. I don't know what happened to my bleed. I think I refilmed this, but in this particular clip, you can see that the purple doesn't reach the full bleed. So do as I say and not as I'm doing in this clip. Or you're gonna have to go back in like I am here with a smaller art knife to clean up the edges and any details that might have been missed. So if there's anything to take away from this video, it's always print with a bleed. Then my favorite part, we're gonna pop this onto the scoreboard and using the bone folder, or I have this little clay making tool. It has a ball on the other end and it makes indents, but it's the same purpose as a bone folder. You could, like I said, you could use a butter knife, but you'll see in this clip how it indented the paper. So that line, because it expands the page and gives it that extra room. When I fold it, the paper's not going to crack. When I first started doing this, I wasn't using a scoreboard. I was doing this just on the cutting mat, and my ink would always crack on the other side, and it took me so long to figure out why. But I'm just continuing that all around the packaging for everywhere that needs to be folded. You can't really see it in the video, but there are really faint lines that are showing me where I need to score. Once I've scored everything, I'm going to move on to folding the box. I taped this corner for some reason first, which it could have been done last, but it wasn't detrimental to the whole project. So after I tape that little flap, I'm going to start folding everything with my bone folder, just really pressing in those creases so that I get the cleanest fold possible. I really like creating packaging at home because I feel like it's a nice way to switch up the type of work you're doing, because when I'm sitting in front of my computer doing the same tasks, especially logo design over and over again, it gets repetitive, which then leads to creative burnout, and it's just a toxic cycle, and I have really been feeling it lately. You know, when the days start to blend together, it's like the worst, grossest feeling, and I am trying to avoid that at all costs lately. On a less depressing note, I am now assembling the box and reinforcing where I taped down with the bone folder. I hope you guys liked my first YouTube video. I know that YouTube's gonna be kind of like a learning journey, but better done than perfect, right? And even if one of you find it remotely entertaining or helpful, that's all I could really ask for.